Hello, my young friends. Today, you are welcome to this session. We have already had the part 1 of the poem My Only Cry. Today, we are going to have the second part of that My Only Cry. Here, let us have a quick recap of what we have seen previously, that is in the first part. We discussed the first part of the poem already. You know that. The following points were arrived at in our previous lesson. What are they? Number 1, Cry of a Helpless Child. That itself is in the title. Cry. It is the cry of a helpless child. And that child is requesting the adults to stop production of arms and weapons, and also waging the wars that is come next, that cause destruction of the future children. So arms and ammunition leads to wars. Wars lead to destruction, and that is going to have an effect on the children. And number 4, adults turning their deaf ear to the cries of the children. Children understand the horrific effects of war and weapons, but they turn the deaf ears to their children. And the next one, adults not willing to talk about peace and friendship of the world. They are not willing. They are all selfish. They want to come up. So like that, they are not bothered and they don't care for the children's cry or demand or an appeal. Here, now we are going to part number 2. We shall read the poem again, that part number 2. Anyway, you have got the textbook. You have to just practice it reading at home. Second part, enough promises, enough waiting. Come everyone, ask them to stop making arms, to stop making wars break out, and to stop telling lies. Here all these sentences start with what? Imperative sentences. Enough promises, enough waiting. Listen. You see the words. Listen. Listen carefully. We are sick. You are sick. But we are here. So what does this? Here, these 4, enough. Child is tired of waiting for adults to keep their promises. Because they have promised the children a very good and bright future. But what they are doing? They have forgotten their promises. And here, child calls upon everyone, both children and adults, other children, his friends, and the adults, to join in the protest against arms manufacturers and warriors, and also the politicians who go in for the wars. And the focus of children is on affection and love. They are not bothered about these things. Their focus is there. And now the second part of the second part. What is that? So means referring to the previous. So your name. So in your name, we children, we ask them, what? Close your arms factories and think about taming the winds. Imperative sentence. And then, right-wing politics matter little to us. We are children. Left-wing politics matter little to us. Our life is essentially affection, love, but through your fault, a veil of dust lies over it. It's a beautiful poem by Laila Ibrahim Seaman. And now we shall discuss on this part. Here, this one, in these 4 lines, requesting the arm makers to stop producing the weapons and the politicians not to wage wars. And the second here, again, enough promises. So the child is sick of it. So again, we shall read it again. Enough waiting. Come everyone, come. Ask them to stop making arms. And what next? To stop making wars break out. 1. Number 2. And one more, to stop telling lies. This child is appealing to stop, stop, stop. 3 stops. Stop what? Making arms. Asking whom? The adults. Arm makers. To stop making wars break out. Politicians. And to stop telling lies. Again, for the adults. Because they tell lies and they don't keep promises. Listen. You see the word, how the child is. Listen. Listen carefully. Oh, listen. You see the words that is used. The earnestness in that. Child's earnestness. We are sick. We referring to the whole world. People. You are sick. Means arms producers, arms users. But we are here. In spite of that, we are here. So in your name, we children, we ask them. Hello adults, in your name, we ask them. We all of us ask them, those makers of bombs, makers of ammunition. What is the child is going to do? Ask. Close your arms factories. You see, again imperative sentence. Close your arms. Now he is directly talking. In the first one he was appealing. Now he is talking. Close your arms and think about taming the winds. Now whatever the disturbance you have created, you soften them. Minimize them. So, see the child. And what does it? The poet uses the pronouns them, we, you, your and us to refer to arms maker, all the children including himself and the adults. Why he has not used those? Because it is suggestive. He doesn't want to take the names. Only with employing these pronouns, he wants to make it what? Briefer and clearer and what? Perfect. Then, this is how. The second one here, in the 4th stanza, here, while talking to the adults, he uses them instead of you. Why? That is to separate the arms makers from the other grown-ups who feel like the children, like the child. That is why he has separated that. Then, last stanza. We shall read and then go in for that. Right-wing politics matter little to us. What do you mean by right-wing? The political ideology who always thinks in the traditional style. age-old style. And that we are children. Why should we know about this right wing and left wing? They matter very little to us. We won't understand. Left wing politics, politicians, political ideology. What do they? They just struggle for the upliftment of the downtrodden, the poorer section of the society. It's only in ideology. Our life is essentially, hello, arm makers, hello, what, this grown-ups. Our life is essentially affection. Our life is not so complex and difficult like yours. What is that? Affection, love and affection. But through your fault, but what is happening? Our love, our affection is being, dust is lying on them. They have to be polished. So here, but through your fault, because of these arms and ammunitions, wars are being fought. People are being killed. The buildings are being tumbled. And thus, that dust metaphorically refers to that. Yes. Now, we shall see here, in the last stanza, the child talks directly to the arms makers. But when the child was assured that the grown-ups people have failed in appealing or in making them not to, what? Go for, prepare that manufacture ammunition and warfare. So the child directly asks them, close, arms makers, and addresses them as you referring to that particular arm makers, ammunition makers. And the other idea, in the, here this is that last stanza, he is not bothered. The child says, I am not bothered about left-wing politics or right-wing politics. I am bothered about love. I am bothered about the concern to be shown to everyone. Love, affection, service. In the first unit, we see the child pleading. But in the second unit, we find him talking, appealing. In the first, we have to appeal first. Then we must go for talk. So in the second one, we find the child talking to the arms makers directly. First, appeal. If it is not taken care of, not heeded, so we have to talk them. So that is what he says. Now, a question arises, here. Is the poet suggesting that when pleading does not help, we should take upon ourselves the responsibility of asserting what is right? What is your opinion? Appeal, when the appeal goes on deaf ears, so we have to talk to them. And you please think about that, you just allow your mind to go deep into that emotional appeal. And last stanza of the poem again, here. Right-wing politics matter little to us. We are children. Left-wing politics matter little to us. Our life is essentially affection. But through your fault, a veil of dust over it. So, that this, the poet says here that the children are not interested in any politics or any party. Innocent lot. It is not their cup. They are not interested in that politics and party because politics is dangerous. Why? It divides the people. That is what you are seeing in everyday life, in the social and political administration of the state. After seeing the politicians, because politics divides people, because they have to form their own party to rule, creates hatred. That creates hatred, and that hatred leads to wars and destruction. That is, they are all correlated. So see here that pictures. The poet uses the same pronoun for different people in different lines. So that is the powerful use of pronouns here. If we use nouns, that will not catch the value. And if the pronouns are used, their strength will be heavier. They are more important. Here it is the same thing happened. The poetess used that only for that effect. For example, in the fourth line, you, that is referred to adults. He is not using adults, you. That is all implied. And in the fifth line, you is used, the same use for children. So it is for the readers and for the concerned, they should know. Why does he so mean? So only for that. The explanation here, it is to make you feel the presence of other characters. You, if you use you bring the whole lot of people together. Presence of other characters in the poem. Although it is only the child who speaks throughout. When the child uses the pronoun you for other children, for other adults and the arm makers, we feel as if he is turning and talking to each of them. You. So it is just turning and pointing towards those people. So, in appreciation of the poem. When you read this poem, do you miss the usual rhyme and jingle of the poem, music of the poem? Here, we help you. Yes, the lines in this poem do not end in similar sounds. There is no rhyming words. Perhaps, rhyme scheme you must have heard and you must have studied in other poems. And the sound at the end of each line is different from the sound at the end of other lines. No similar sound, no rhyming. This is so because the poem is written in blank verse. So, what is blank verse? Blank verse or a poem written in blank verse consists of unrhymed lines. Rhyme is not important there, but it has a singular pattern of movement that is there. And you see, if you go first stanza 8 lines, second stanza 5 lines, then 3 lines, then 4 lines, then 5 lines. Why it is so? Means there is no restriction. So that is blank verse that comes so easily. And whether it is 3 lines or 4 lines in it, that contains one idea, as you find in the prose paragraphs. Here also, that paragraph is here, it is stanza, and one idea is clear in that stanza. And the next one, it has a regular rhythm of its own. Rhythm is there, rhymes are not there. That music of the thought, music of the sentence, music of the idea is there. And you see, after reading the poem, I want to just draw your attention to some of the facts that happened after the war. What is that? In the Peace Park of Hiroshima, in 1945, Hiroshima and Nagasaki were bombed and it was destroyed to such an extent, even nothing is grown there. Agricultural land has become so barren. That is why they have come up technologically and industrially. In the Peace Park of Hiroshima, one of the cities which suffered a nuclear attack in 1945, there stands a statue of a little girl holding a golden crane with the inscription. What is the inscription? This is our cry. Something is written there on that crane. This is our prayer. Peace on earth. There should be peace on earth. There should be peace on earth. That is there. The statue was inspired by Sadako Sasaki, who was 2 years old when Hiroshima was bombed. You see how that has affected the younger generation. When Sadako was 12 years, she got leukemia, also known as the atom bomb disease. That is called atom bomb disease. So you see. Do you know? So these are the pictures. Yes, Sadako's friends reminded her of a Japanese belief that if she folded 10,000 paper cranes, she might live. She will be recovered. That is what Japanese belief. Sadako died before she could complete the task. Here she has been doing all these things, cranes, paper cranes. Unfortunately, she died before she could complete the task. So, her friends raised money to build a memorial for all the children who had died due to the atomic attack. This mishap, so many, and this is only to remind that and that side and those children, unlucky children. Now, we shall spend some time here. All the pictures are here and you please attentively see and read both. What is that? This is how the paper cranes are made. Number 1, start with a square piece of paper, colored side up, fold in half and open, then fold in half the other way. You are all children, you know that art better. Perhaps you must have been spending your leisure time in doing all sorts of things. Here the second one. Turn the paper over to the white side. After doing that, fold the paper in half. Crease well. So that there should not be any this key, and crease well and open, and then fold again in the other direction. If you don't press it properly, they will not make good cranes. The third one, what is that? Using the creases, folds, crease, creases you have made, bring, using the cranes you have made. After that, bring the top 3 corners of the model down to the bottom corner as it is seen here. It is shown here and it is seen by you here. And then the fourth one. Start with a square piece of paper, colored side up, fold in half and open, then fold in half the other way. Number 5. Fold top of model downwards, crease well and unfold as shown here. And then open the uppermost flap of the model, bringing it upwards and pressing the sides of the model towards at the same time. Flatten down. Then turn the model over. Repeat 4 to 6 steps on either side, on the other side. And then fold top flaps into the center as it is done here. And now repeat on the other side. Whatever you have done, you have to do on the other side also. And 10th way, fold both legs of model up, crease very well, then unfold. And inside reverse inside, reverse fold the legs along the crease you just made. Then what? Inside reverse, fold one side to make a head, then fold down the wings as shown here. I think it is clearly visible. So here is how you can do the paper cranes. Now you have known the art of making final version of the paper cranes. Finish that crane. Then we are coming to an end of this part number 2. And please read it, remember it and repeat that, and that makes you perfect and understand the poetess. Till then, fine. Thank you.